Welcome to Subway Sports Talk.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, here we go. We are not live on Subway Sports Talk. My name is Peter Kennedy, and I am your host. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into SST on Apple Podcasts app, Spotify, and on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on socials at Subway Sports Talk, at Pete Kennedy 2Ys, especially on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, give us a holler, because I'm posting every day, man. Maybe twice a day. I'm out here posting on TikTok, so we're having fun. We're getting some good engagement up in there too. So if you're listening to this, get on there, say what up, and give me a shout. But today, obviously, we got stuff to talk about. Not just did the New York Mets make two trades that we're going to break down very tightly here. The Yankees made a little trade that we'll say something about. I also have three takes, three hills that I am ready to die on. Ready to go out in the fire. Three NFL opinions. And they're all quarterback related that I'm going to drop for y'all today. And I'm workshopping them a little bit, but it's three things that I am preparing to fall on the sword for this season. But let's start off with the New York Mets, of course, as the New York Mets make two trades on Wednesday, July 30th, that have gone to some varying degree of appreciation from the fan base. Some people are out here thinking that this was too much to give up. Why would you give up Blake Tidwell? I always want to call him Blake Tidwell. Blade Tidwell. Why would you give up Drew Gilbert? Jose Butto has been a good player for this team. And you're giving these guys up for a relief pitcher? That's Tyler Rogers, of course, from the San Francisco Giants. Then you also hear, okay, the Cardinals are sending Ryan Helsley to the New York Mets. That's a closer. The Mets are bringing in a closer, a guy who is or has pitched in high leverage situations, who has gotten saves. The Mets are bringing him in. Who are they giving up? Oh, they're giving up two of the top 15 prospects. They're giving up Jesus Baez, Nate Dom, and then another guy, Frank Elisalt, who I think that's how you pronounce it. All right, another relief pitcher. Giving up a lot. So you start thinking about it. Okay, 12, 10, 8, and 14. For two relief pitchers, Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley, feels like a lot. I'm here to tell you that if you're on that side of the coin, I disagree vehemently. To me, this is very simple in how you should look at this trade here, how you should look at these two moves together for the New York Mets. When you break down what the Mets' strengths have been this year, on the overall picture, you would point to the pitching for the entirety of the year. But if you break down their strengths over the last few weeks, it certainly has not been the pitching. And specifically, has not been the bullpen. This bullpen has been stretched thin. This bullpen has been a reason why we all have heartburn, agita, every single night. Part of that reason is because the starting pitching can't get through the fifth inning. I get that. If Kodai Senga, whose ERA is beautiful when you look at it on Baseball Reference, if he can pitch into the seventh one time, my Lord, maybe we'd save some of these arms. If anyone besides Drew Peterson could make it into the sixth, God forbid, seventh inning on a consistent basis, maybe our bullpen wouldn't be so stretched. But right here, sitting in first place, just a half game up on the Philadelphia Phillies, this bullpen has been stretched. That taxi from Syracuse back to Citi Field has been busy. Guys getting DFA'd, guys getting hurt, guys getting cut, guys getting brought up and down and up and down and up and down. Now, the real testament to what you think of this trade is simply, to me, what do you think this Mets team potential is in 2025? For me, it's very simple. I think the New York Mets are a World Series contender. I believe the Mets, as currently constituted, can compete for a World Series this fall. And because I believe that hugging prospects for guys who might help this team in 2 to 3 years is not the move you need to be making. Especially when you have other prospects who are young, who are impactful, who are here right now. So we're going to be concerned about Drew Gilbert because of the Pete Crow Armstrong taste in our mouth? What if Drew Gilbert is Jared Kelenic? Okay? It can go both ways. But two things that I haven't gotten to yet that are super important here are the two people who have now joined this Mets team. I believe they're a World Series contender. And the weakness that they've had has been the bullpen not being trustworthy, being overworked, being stretched thin. You see half these guys in the Mets bullpen out there right now, and you get nervous. Say, what the hell? Who is this guy? Davuski? Chris Davinsky, I'm just messing around. These guys are getting shipped up and down. You trust them? I don't. Now you bring in Tyler Rogers, who has been untouchable this year. Are you kidding me? We're not talking about a guy who has some nice numbers. We're not talking about a guy who has just a cute, good ERA for a reliever. We're talking about a guy who in 53 appearances has only given up runs in 6 of those appearances. That means out of 53 times, he's gone out there 47 times and didn't give up a run. 47 times this season. I'm not talking over the last 3. I ain't talking about last year and this year combined. Right now, 2025, 53 appearances. He's only given up runs 6 times. Yeah, so the 1.9 ERA he has is legit. 1.8, sorry. That's legit. To go out that often in a season for a team that's been struggling, up and down, pretty solid. The Mets just saw him out in San Francisco. It's a solid team, man. Going out in big spots, getting people out consistently. 8th inning, 9th inning, 7th inning, don't matter. Tyler Rogers is getting people out. And then you talk about Ryan Helsley. His numbers aren't as gorgeous when you look at him. His ERA is just a 3, which in the Mets bullpen, let me remind you, is really good. Okay? Because in the Mets bullpen, you got ERAs 3.9, 3.6, 4.0, 7.1, 7.7. That's, poor Paul Blackburn, who's mostly been a starter anyway. But I'm just reading through some of the numbers right now. Huascar Brazaban, 3.8. These guys have given up 20 runs. These guys are giving up a lot of runs. Ryan Helsley, so far this season, he's given up runs in 9 of his 30 games. Or 36 appearances. That's great. And these are in save situations. He's got 21 saves on the year. This bullpen just got so much better. This bullpen is becoming a strength now. And you look at Reed Garrett, Edwin Diaz, now Tyler Rogers, and Ryan Helsley. That's a real bullpen now. Ryan Stanek, who I know Mets fans hear that name and they cringe and they get scared. He's not going to be the 8th inning guy now. He's not going to be the backup closer when Edwin has thrown 2 games in a row. You got a guy. Ryan Helsley's been there, done that. Tyler Rogers has been a stud this year. This is the type of move that you make when you can win. And you can point to the starting rotation and say, well, they need starters. They need a guy who can go deep in games. They need a guy who can actually get to the 7th inning. Agreed. They do need that. Who is it? Where's that guy coming from? Seth Lugo signed an extension in Kansas City. He ain't coming over here. Everyone's been talking about Sandy Alcantara since the preseason. He's been terrible this year. Ideas of Luis Severino reuniting with the Mets. He's been getting shelled. The starting pitcher doesn't exist. The starting pitcher, if you're upset with what the Mets gave up for these relievers, what do you think a good starting pitcher is going to go for? We're not going to be talking about number 8, 10, 12, and 14. We're going to be talking about number 3 and number 5. You want to give up Jonah Tung? You want to give up Nolan McLean? You want to give up Jet Williams? You want to give up Mark Vientos or Ronnie Mauricio? I'm good. We got those guys. We're worried about guys who might help in 3 years. If you're worried about guys who can help in 3 years, you don't believe you're good enough to win now. I believe the Mets are good enough to win now. And these two moves, Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley, are David Stearns telling us that he believes the Mets are good enough to win right now. This Mets team has not clicked at all cylinders for any portion of time this year. Any portion of time. There has not been a situation where you can point to all the key contributors or the key, in theory, theoretical contributors and say they're clicking together. Early in the season, the offense couldn't hit. The pitching was carrying. They were winning. Then the hitting got a touch better. Pitching slowed down. They still won a little bit. Then they stunk, and they couldn't hit. They couldn't pitch. Juan Soto was the only one hitting, and they lost a bunch of games. Now they go on a 7-game win streak before getting swept in San Diego. And Alonso and Lindor couldn't do nothing. They're batting combined under 250. Like I'm saying, if you add the batting averages over the last 2 weeks of Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor, it's under like 250, legitimately. Over the last 15 days, Alonso, 091. Francisco Lindor, 148. That's over the last dozen games. These two guys are not hitting a lick. And who is hitting a lick now? You got Francisco Alvarez since his return, batting 286. Huge home run. You got Mark Vientos, his last 10 games. Hit a huge home run, grand slam. Multiple extra base hits, batting 300. You got Ronnie Mauricio, back-to-back games with tying home runs. Late in the game, batting 276. So now, and Juan Soto obviously hurt. We're going to see what happens with him with this move here, with this injury, if he's going to be fine or not. Obviously, it seems like he's going to be okay. Juan Soto, over the last 11 games for him, batting 128. Remember, in that 12-game span, over the last 15 days, they were on a 7-game win streak at one point before getting swept again in San Diego. That was with Soto not hitting. That was with Alonso not hitting. That was with Lindor not hitting. That was with the pitching having some good performances. This team is sitting at first in the NL East without clicking together at all this entire season. David Stearns making these two moves for Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley is telling us that he believes they can win it all this season. And it's important for them to have that mindset. I believe that's legitimate. I believe this is the types of move they should be making. Because when you have a window that's open, you push forward. You try to open that window further. And adding Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley to this bullpen is absolutely prying that window open even more. That is creating an opportunity. That is creating faith in a pitching staff that needed it desperately. That desperately needed a shot in the arm. I mean, you got guys who are coming in and out of this rotation or this bullpen every day. And you're saying, who is this guy? Who do we got today? You know, obviously Brooks Raley comes back. You know, when Buto came back, that felt good. We're talking about Brandon Waddell. We're talking about Chris Davinsky. We're talking about appearances from a Hageman. We're talking about now, you know, Rico Garcia looking pretty good so far. We like him. We're seeing Castillo come in. Carrillo come in. Okay, looking kind of good. Greg Soto, he gets traded for. I forgot to bring him up the whole time. He just got traded for last week. He can do stuff. Now we're talking. Now we're talking about a pitching staff that makes sense. So when Kodai Senga only goes 5 innings, you're covered. You got Tyler Rogers. You got Helsley moving into the 7th or 8th. You still got Reed Garrett. You got Carrillo. You got Rico Garcia. You got Ryan Stanek. All of a sudden, can this bullpen become a strength? No more Brandon Waddell, no offense. This stuff matters, man. This stuff is legitimate. All of a sudden, you're talking about a team where you had a weakness that looks at it as a strength. No more Huascar Brazoban, who was giving us agita every time he stepped on the mound. Picture this. You got a Kodai Senga big start. He pitches pretty damn well. Strikes out 8. Only makes it 5. All right. Here comes Let's go Rico Garcia because he's been good in those situations. He gets you 6. He make you 7. And then you have the pick of the litter. Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley, Reed Garrett. Before Edwin Diaz, who's been a freaking monster this year. Are you kidding me? All of a sudden, this is a strength. All of a sudden, we're talking about a pitching staff again that would make sense if they ended up at the top of the statistics for a month's time. That's all during a time where the offense has not yet clicked. And we look at that as negatives. And I get it. It stings. There's these stretches in time where it's like, this team can't freaking score a run. What is going on? But over the course of 162, which they're about 2/3 of the way through now, these things are going to get right. Francisco Lindor will start hitting again. Pete Alonso will start hitting again. Juan Soto will start hitting again. And you combine that with what Brandon Nimmo's been doing, you combine that with Vientos and Alvarez and Ronnie Mauricio coming up to snuff, this is a World Series team. And if you're worried about Drew Gilbert, have fun being miserable, waiting for 2028, continuing to kick the can down the road. That's not what I'm here for. I've had too many years as a Mets fan, my entire life. Okay, well, next year they're going to be able to sign somebody, and maybe they'll make a big trade in the offseason, and then next year, they're going to be ready to go. No, this year they're ready to go. Right now, they're ready to go. Moving for Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley and Gregory Soto tells me everything I needed to know and confirms for me everything I've been saying on social media and on this podcast for weeks. This team is really good. The New York Mets can win the World Series in 2025. We weren't sure that David Stearns was going to move with that type of energy. We weren't sure the type of motion that David Stearns had in him in 2025. Now we know. The question has been answered. The starting pitching prospects in the trade market were never really there. And if you're upset about Drew Gilbert, I'm sorry. I'm excited about the prospects of winning this year. This MLB season is strange, man. This season is telling us a lot of stuff around the league right now. There is not a fan base in baseball that is sitting here saying we're a juggernaut, we're a lock, we're X, we're Y, we're Z. Nope. Every team right now, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Chicago Cubs, the Mets, the Phillies, all of them have flaws. All of those teams believe they can win, believe they can lose. All of those fan bases have 3 nights a week where they go, what the hell, we suck. The Mets are no different right now. Switch over to the American League, it's even more evident. We thought the Detroit Tigers were going to be a juggernaut this year. After the break, they struggled. They lost 6 in a row before this little 4-game win streak they're on right now. The Toronto Blue Jays, they're playing hot ball right now. They're still 5-5 in their last 10. It's just that the Yankees can't gain any ground. Every team is flawed. And when you have a bunch of good, flawed teams in baseball, if you have the ability to get specifically better and you can't argue against it, you do it. Every time. And you don't play if you're the New York Mets, who have Francisco Lindor in the prime, who have Pete Alonso for maybe 1 or 2 more years, maybe for long term, but you have him for this year. Brandon Nimmo in his 30s. Edwin Diaz at the peak of his powers. Juan Soto right in his prime. You're going to punt? You're not going to get better? And on top of that, the Mets prospect list here, if you look through it, the top 5 are untouched. Untouched. Jet Williams still down there. Jonah Tung still down there. Nolan McLean still down there. Carson Bangage, who's a better outfield prospect than Drew Gilbert, still down there. Brandon Sproat still there. Blade Tidwell gone. Drew Gilbert gone. Oh no, this is Pete Crow Armstrong. Maybe it is. It probably isn't. Maybe it is. Drew Gilbert ain't helping the Mets win right now. Blade Tidwell, we got him up here already. We saw that. He ain't helping the Mets win right now. Tyler Rogers is helping the Mets win right now. And if you believe that your team can win, you want them to make moves with that in mind. David Stearns just told us everything. He believes this team can win. And if you have a general manager with a track record like Stearns when it comes to pitching prospects, when it comes to bullpen arms, when it comes to pitchers in general, you trust him. In David Stearns, we trust. We've said it all year. Some of us have. Some people are skeptical. This guy has done nothing for the New York Mets, at this point, for me not to trust him. I had, before this trade deadline is approaching, a feeling that this Mets team can win a World Series, and I was hoping that Stearns had the same. And now he proved to me that he did. And I want you to really sit here and think about that. Because if you're upset about Drew Gilbert, I get it. Having these guys in the system feels nice. When you go through an ESPN, graphic that says the Mets have a top X, farm system in baseball, that feels great, doesn't it? That don't really help you win World Series right now, does it? When you're in first place in the NL East. When you're in first place when you haven't even been playing your best baseball. Tyler Rogers has been a stud this year. Tyler Rogers is a guy to add to this pen, to get out there in the 7th, to get out there in the 8th, and shut people down. 53 appearances this year. Only give up runs in 6 of them. Easily making this team better. And the same for Soto, Gregory. The same for Ryan Helsley. The Mets are better now than they were yesterday. And to me, that's more than enough. And to me, the prospect hugging, which we complain about all the time with the New York Yankees, is something that you can't do if you're trying to win a World Series. Sorry. I hope that you don't become Pete Crow Armstrong again, because that stings, right? Every time you see it, oh, Crow Armstrong hit a home run, stole a base, and threw somebody out from center field. He's a freaking stud. I get it. I have him on my fantasy team. For as happy as I am that he's on my fantasy team, it stings every time he does something great for Chicago. I get it. But right now, the Mets are ready to win this year, and to have that sense of confidence from your general manager making moves to win right now, yes, sign me up all day, every day. Now, speaking of confidence to win, the New York Yankees, the Yankees made a move. Austin Slater. Yeah, let's go. A career average, below average outfielder. Woo! Talk about having confidence in your team to win right now. I don't get it. I mean, listen, Judge is hurt. We don't know the ideas of how long he's going to be hurt. Austin Slater is not a bad player, right? Like, he's fine. Austin Slater is a guy who's 32 years old. He's batting .236 this year. He's got 5 home runs. He is not a special player, okay? He's fine. The Yankees, and I'm like sighing already out loud here because I've been banging the drum for the New York Yankees to go out there and make win now moves. Haven't really done it, right? Ryan McMahon, nice. Okay. Another, below average type hitter who's an amazing glove at third base, which is huge for them. But the Judge injury, puts a wrinkle in all of this, right? Like I get that. But to me, the New York Yankees are the perfect experiment over the last few years as to what you could do as a contender versus what you couldn't do as a contender. Trading for Juan Soto last year, 10 times out of 10. The New York Yankees made it to the World Series last year, okay? People forget about that. People forget real easy about that. The New York Yankees are still in striking distance of winning the AL East this year, even though people don't want to believe that. And that's without your ace in Garrett Cole, right? So I know things change, and I know the Yankees are still going to hold on to some of their prospects like Spencer Jones and George Lombard. I get it. But before Judge got hurt here, I desperately wanted the Yankees to push forward. Because I believe, again, I'll say for the 14th time this podcast, if you have a chance to win the World Series, you push to win the World Series. And I believe the Yankees still have a chance to do so. This offense is so much more balanced than it's been in years, frankly. In years. And with that being said, they should be pushing forward. Austin Slater, he don't get the juices flowing like that, frankly, right? McMahon, good, not great, but good, amazing defensive third baseman. No, he hit a double against Tampa here on Wednesday night. Nice. I would love for them to push more. And obviously the deadline's not over yet. It's over tomorrow. So we'll see if they do anything else. We will. And I'm going to hold out too many thoughts on the Yankees until they finish the deadline. But for the Mets, I have plenty to say because these three moves, Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, and Ryan Helsley, yes, thank you, David Stearns. We just turned a weakness into a strength. The New York Mets had a glaring weakness in the bullpen, and that has become a strength in 2 days. Well, if you count the Soto trade, which was like 5 days ago, whatever, in 1 week's time, that weakness has become a strength. Seriously. This guy Carrillo, this guy Garcia, looking good. Edwin Diaz, absolute peak of his powers right now. Gregory Soto, Reed Garrett, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley. So many dudes who you can push out there and feel good about. For the Mets, that's it right now on Subway Sports Talk. We're not done yet. Subway Sports Talk, Pete Kennedy. Hit me on socials at Subway Sports Talk or at Pete Kennedy with 2 Ys on the end. And I have some football thoughts that I want to run through quickly before we say goodbye here because it's that time of year. I put the TikTok up there today asking people, are you thinking about football yet? I'm curious, right? When do you start thinking about football? Or do you ever stop thinking about football? Because for me, when football ends, basketball is taking off. Basketball was a great playoff run. I enjoyed it thoroughly this year. Obviously, the Knicks being super involved made that even better. The Mets have been, really interesting and pretty much must-watch TV for me all year. The Yankees, similarly, are very interesting this year again because that's what they do. They're interesting and they don't push forward, but they're interesting. And I haven't been thinking about football that much. But recently, over the past few weeks, I've certainly been thinking about it. And right now, I have 3 things that I want to run out there just as like a little test run because it's not like a preview yet. It's nothing crazy yet. It's fantasy thought season. It's preview season a little bit. It's not really prediction season just yet. But I have 3 things that I'm going to throw out there, and I'm going to call it the 5, 10, 15. It's 3 opinions on 3 quarterbacks, and I'm calling it the 5, 10, 15. The first one is 5. Justin Herbert, to me, can still be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And that right there is going to turn people off. Some people are going to say, are you kidding me? That guy's not clutch. Are you kidding me? He can't win the big game. Are you kidding me? Justin Herbert is a loser. Whatever you want to say about Justin Herbert, go ahead and say it. I got my real estate on Justin Herbert Island, and I ain't going nowhere. Last year, with Jim Harbaugh finally, righting the ship for the Los Angeles Chargers, we saw a level of consistency from that team. We saw a level of success from that team that obviously didn't get over any humps, that obviously didn't lead to the promised land, that obviously didn't put Justin Herbert in this tier with Lamar and Mahomes and Josh Allen just yet. I get it. But Justin Herbert is a guy who I'm investing more in. Justin Herbert's a guy who I am going to look at again this year and say this guy can be an elite quarterback. The idea of Justin Herbert being top 5, I wouldn't rank him there right now because I'm not stupid. I'm not going to just do that to be a hot take guy. But projecting forward, I still believe and have faith that Justin Herbert can be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. You think about the Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, top 4, can't argue it any other way, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts, some people will want to put in that top 4. It's a little divisive. I get it. You can knock yourself out and say he won the Super Bowl. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, twice now, whatever you want to say. Fine. If you want to throw him in there, go ahead. It's based off accolades. It's not based off talent, in my humble opinion. Justin Herbert, from a talent perspective, is still right there. Justin Herbert, with one more year with Jim Harbaugh, one more year with consistency and a team around him that's starting to make more sense, is going to get back into these conversations. And I think all the people out here who want to point to some bad playoff performances, who want to point to some picks in the wrong situations, you can knock yourself out and you'll have the laugh right now. I have faith that I'll have the last laugh when it comes to Herbert and his success over the time of his career. He's too strong, too good of an arm, makes too good of decisions most of the time to believe that I think he's going to start sucking. Justin Herbert's really good. I continue to believe that he'll get better and really implant himself back in that top 5 conversation. The next one is 10. Number 10. And as you can see where I'm going here. Trevor Lawrence. I have faith in Trevor Lawrence still too. I have investments on Trevor Lawrence Island. I haven't sold them. And people think I'm batshit crazy for doing so. To me, being a top 10 quarterback is very much in sight still for Trevor Lawrence. Liam Cohen, the new coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, became a meme, became a guy, Duval, who is joked about right now. If you go ahead and talk to these guys, like Baker Mayfield, who everyone loves again, you better believe they're giving awful amounts of credit to Liam Cohen. And there's been a trend of head coaches now in the NFL who have just absolutely just botched, wholly airballed their press conferences and their introductions to their fan base. Think about the last 5 years. You got Dan Campbell freaking everybody out. Oh, this freaking blockhead biting kneecaps, old school Joe Blow is going to come in here and coach an NFL team in this day and age? Yeah, right. Well, what has Dan Campbell done? He's been more analytically inclined to act than most coaches in the league. He's been tough as nails, has inspired tough as nails football, and has led the Lions to not just success, but understanding that they're a top-tier franchise in the NFL right now. That's Dan Campbell. Nick Sirianni, next one. Boom. This guy, freak. What's this guy's deal? Nobody likes him. Him and Jalen Hurts don't even get along. What is this guy going on? He's screaming at fans at his own arenas. What's up with Nick Sirianni? I don't know. Super Bowl champ. Can't stop winning. There's another one. You can find some head coaches who show up to that first press conference and you go, what the hell? What was that? Liam Cohen has been an offensive architect for some years now. Liam Cohen is a guy who Sean McVay will rave about. We still love Sean McVay. Liam Cohen's a guy who Baker Mayfield can owe some success to from last season. And I think he is the right guy who can help Trevor Lawrence get back on a winning track. And that AFC South, which everyone wants to just hand to the Houston Texans because CJ Stroud is a good quarterback and that division stinks. They want to say, okay, the Texans are going to win the AFC South. Just chalk it up, whatever. The Jacksonville Jaguars are here, man. And Trevor Lawrence is still a good quarterback, man. Trevor Lawrence being a top 10 quarterback should not make me sound like I'm doing some sort of hot take. This guy can throw it. This guy is athletic. This guy makes plays every once in a while that you go, oh my goodness, how the hell did he throw that with that type of anticipation? That doesn't just come out of thin air. He's had some struggles. He's won some games. He's won some big games. Trevor Lawrence is a guy who people really wanted to really prop up before the draft. Oh, he's a prospect like none other. This guy is the best prospect since Peyton Manning. This guy is the next best prospect since whatever. And then all of a sudden, because he came in number 1 pick, Urban Meyer blew it for him. He's had 3 coaches. Doug Peterson came in. He thought he wrote the ship for Trevor Lawrence. That obviously didn't work out because as soon as Doug Peterson gave up play calling for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they were trash. They couldn't do anything on offense. And now a guy like Liam Cohen, who just led the Buccaneers to their best run game in a long time, who just led the Baker Mayfield offense to be electric last year, he's with Trevor Lawrence. And that gives me faith that the stock that I've held on to for Trevor Lawrence, that he's going to be a good winning quarterback in this NFL, is still live. And I'm still bullish. Trevor Lawrence can be a top 10 quarterback this year. And last but not least, number 15, Caleb Williams is my last hill I'm ready to die on this year. And these aren't predictions just yet. These aren't like, Oh, the Chargers are going to win the AFC West. Oh, Trevor Lawrence is going to win 13 games this year. Caleb Williams is going to, win the NFC North. I'm not saying that, right? Caleb Williams has a real offensive coach. Caleb Williams still has DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. Caleb Williams has an offensive line that people are ranking highly this year. PFF has them top 5. This matters, man. Do you remember what Caleb Williams was doing last year as a quarterback in the NFL? I do. Mans was running for his life every time he dropped back. Man had a coach that was literally out the door waiting for somebody to kick him in the ass on the way out. Now he gets Ben Johnson, the guy who led this offense in Detroit that was dynamic, that was powerful, that ran the ball with amazing success, that had creativity like no other in the league, that had Jared Goff playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league at certain points. That guy gets to have his hands on Caleb Williams, who is extremely talented thrower of the football, who is a cerebral, athletic guy who can move the pocket and can throw on the run, can make all the throws. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm not giving up any stock there yet. There's still a chance that Caleb Williams is the best quarterback of his class. And me saying that, you're going to go, dude, did you not watch Jaden Daniels last year? Of course I did. I love Jaden Daniels. He was incredible last year. Has every quarterback always been as good as they've been in their first go-round? I just talked about Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Those two guys had amazing seasons in the past that people are saying, these guys suck. You're telling me Washington, who had this run last year with a relatively easy schedule, not beating tons of crazy talent, is a guaranteed lock to be awesome again this year? Terry McLaurin can't get his contract figured out in Washington. Jaden Daniels is fine. He's so good, it doesn't matter. It matters. And I'm not trying to hate on Jaden Daniels. I think he's awesome. I'm just saying Caleb has a chance to still be the best in this class. And if you start talking to me about Bo Nix, you start talking to me about J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix, my money's on Caleb Williams still. People like to jump through these ideas when Caleb Williams has this bad offensive coordinator, bad head coach, terrible offensive line. Oh, man, can you imagine if Caleb Williams got with like a Ben Johnson or something like that? Yeah, that'd be great. And then it happens. And still no one's given faith to Caleb Williams? What happened? I thought all he needed was a better offensive coach. All he needed was a chance with a better offensive line. He's got both of those things. And last year, through all his struggles, the Bears were competitive. The Bears hung around here and there. And you're talking about the hottest name on the market, Ben Johnson, their head coach now. That's not supposed to make him better? It certainly is. I think for this year, some people would say, oh, you're calling Caleb Williams going to be top 15? You're crazy. I'm saying that's just for this year. Caleb Williams still has what it takes to be a top 10 quarterback, to jump into that top 7, top 5 range. Is it a lock? Obviously not. But those prospects are looking better and better every single day with that offensive line building in Chicago and with Ben Johnson at the helm. So that's it. 5, 10, 15. Justin Herbert, top 5. Trevor Lawrence, top 10. Caleb Williams, top 15. This year, book it, projecting forward. How you doing? That's all we got. Subway Sports Talk. Nice, simple, chill pod today. Laid back, drinking water. My water bottle here, handy dandy. Just wanted to get a good one out. Talk about the Mets, because I think, again, I got everything now. They just got swept in San Diego. I don't care. I really don't. And I love when I'm on social media, because I made a post, on Sunday after they beat the Giants, or before, I forget what it was. The Mets can win the World Series right now. And they go and get swept. And there'll be people in the comments. Oh, look at you, loser. Mets suck. Mets blow. You're a clown. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Let's watch this play out here. Because I now see a team in the New York Mets with a strength in the bullpen. I now see a team with an offense waiting to explode, with Mark Vientos and Ronnie Mauricio and Francisco Alvarez, who got concussed on Wednesday. Hopefully he's fine. Starting to hit really well. And last thing I'll leave you with here, because, I don't know if you're going to be listening to this after the trade deadline. Very possible you might. and obviously there's a chance bigger trades happen here on Thursday. I posed the question, if you had to trade somebody on the New York Mets, who would it be? Mark Vientos, Brett Baty, or Ronnie Mauricio? And there's like almost 180 comments on this post here. And I'll tell you, if you scroll through it, you'll see one, Mauricio for sure. Oh, I can't trade Mauricio. Oh, easily Vientos. He can't play a position. He's a DH. Trade him. I can't. And then the next one, I can't trade Vientos. Oh, it's Baty for sure. No, I'm not trading Baty. He's the best of the. You know what that means? You know what that means? That you have all these Mets fans and non-Met fans alike saying, no, you have to trade this guy. You can't trade that guy. No, you have to trade that guy. You can't trade this guy. That means you're operating from a position of strength. That means you're operating from a place that all these prospects have a lot to give. And I hate even calling them prospects because they're in the MLB right now. Mark Vientos specifically has proven that he can hit in big moments. He's proven that he can be a focal point of an offense in the playoffs in major spots. And he's starting to show that again. He is starting to look like Mark Vientos again, where he is driving the ball to right center. He is hitting the ball hard more often than not. He had an abysmal start to this year. Mark Vientos was about as bad of a hitter you could have been early in this season. He is mashing baseballs again. I don't want to get rid of him. And Ronnie Mauricio, the absolutely effortless power, the cannon of an arm, the glove that he has. I ain't trading him. I'll tell you right now, I ain't trading Ronnie Mauricio. And I ain't trading Mark Vientos. Now, Brett Baty, who has been hitting the best out of the three of them for the longest amount of time, that leaves him vulnerable. I would trade Brett Baty. I see Brett Baty's ceiling is to be a nice player, a good player. I don't see his ceiling to ever reach great. We've seen Mark Vientos be great. Ronnie Mauricio has the tools to be great. Brett Baty, I think, has the tools to be good. That's why I would trade him if I had to. But not having to is also an option. Because as currently constituted right now, the New York Mets can win the World Series. And I'll stand on that until they don't. That's all we got. Subway Sports Talk. We will talk to you again tomorrow night. If you're listening to this on Thursday, tonight on TOL and Friends. I'll probably post that here on Subway Sports Talk as well. TOL and Friends with Allison Tron, Anthony Gallo, Hector Beauchamp, doing all sorts of trade deadline talks, and much more Mets and Yankees talks for sure. That's on Uptown Sports TV. I'll also post it probably on Subway Sports Talk podcast right here. But if you like what you've been hearing, don't forget to subscribe, rate, review on the podcast app, on YouTube. Drop a comment, man. If you can leave a comment on the Spotify page or on the YouTube page or on social media, that means the world to me. It's awesome to see the engagement that I'm getting here on TikTok now. You know, people commenting on all these posts and having debates with each other, asking questions. I love it. It's what this is all about. And I've been doing this podcast for a long time, and I'm not stopping now. So if you like it, get aboard, because we'll be talking to you every day. Well, not every day. Well, every day on social media, once, twice a week on this podcast. And that's just what it is. Subway Sports Talk. That's all we got. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.